As a filmmaker, you need to build skills. And which skills, you might ask? That's kind of hard to say because each role and position is going to have kind of different skills needed. But when I think about skills, it's just like an athlete. Depending on what sport or even music, you need to practice. You need to learn how to build those skills and practice them to improve. And it's kind of like playing, PlayStation or a video game. Like I know when I was younger, I started playing on Atari, then Nintendo, and then I feel like PlayStation was kind of those years that I played a lot. Like Anthony and I used to play a lot of video games. Anthony's probably better than me, but we played many, many hours. What I mean is, you get to that point when you start to think about where I'm going to commit my time. And for me, it was probably late college that I started going, I really want to commit to making myself a better filmmaker. And so I invested time to build my skills. Now, with building skills, you can definitely try to do a little bit more what I did, which was become that jack of all trades, unfortunately master of none, and learn a little bit about everything. The reason I did that, because I felt as a storyteller, and especially as a director, I thought it was valuable to know a little bit about every department so I can communicate. But here are some of the top skills I think are valuable for filmmakers. Number one, storytelling. Since it's sort of the foundation and the root of what we do as filmmakers in storytelling, I think it's super important for everyone, no matter what department, is to really understand storytelling and all the components. Even if you're in the art department, it's understanding, well, if I'm telling this story, how can I better bring this visual to life? Or from acting, directing, cinematography, light, it's all about storytelling. So that to me is number one, is how can you better communicate and effectively transfer that emotion of story to your audience. Number two, the technical side. So once you kind of say, I know what I want to do this or this niche, then kind of dive all in. So if you know you're going to be a director of photography and you really want to be behind the camera, then it's really competitive. So you've got to do everything you can to make yourself better equipped to be a master of that position. So it's not just knowing everything you can about one specific camera, like, a Canon or, a Red. It's being able to jump to every camera and know the foundation of the fundamentals of cinematography. So it's not just going to be about lighting or composition and framing and movement and motivation and, shutter speed and frame rate and all. You have to know it all, and then you have to practice it. So it's definitely one of those things that once you find your niche, go into the technical side and be a nerd about it. Three, communication. And this one gets overlooked a lot. And since I teach in the Department of Communication, we laugh because it's a very hard skill, is to understand how to communicate, not just what's going on in up here and get people to, if you're a director or screenwriter, to communicate what your vision is, but within departments, what you need, what's top priority, when you need it, and to do it in an effective manner that you are not bossing people around, but you're all still working towards the same goal of telling a story. So communication, it takes time. I think many of us still struggle with this because we may not want to hurt someone's feelings, or we might not be direct or clear, and it might make sense up here, and then it starts to come out and you're like, that didn't make sense at all. So communication is a very valuable skill to continuously improve upon. And that's not just the written communication, but the oral communication. Last one, problem solving. I cannot tell you enough about how being a filmmaker is about problem solving. And the more you have been on a film set, the more you've gone through these different problems and different issues and realize you need to be able to solve them as fast as possible. And especially when you're tired and your brain's not working, it helps with team if you're able to kind of think outside the box and be creative. Or I don't have this piece of equipment, I want this shot, or this piece of equipment broke, and whatever it might be, to be able to quickly and efficiently say, we're going to do this. Like, make a decision, especially for directors. That can be a really tough thing when everyone's turning to you in those moments where you're on, you know, day 7 and you are on very little sleep and people are starting to get frustrated, or just because of lack of, energy, so to say. What can you do in those moments when something's not working and you can tell people are going to like problem solving? So that's a super, super important skill. Now, out of all these skills, besides the 4 that I mentioned, it's hard to say what is the most valuable and what's important, but to me, find what you are interested in and what makes you excited, and just dive deep into it. Even if you go the route who, like me, I get excited about it all. I want to know a little bit about everything. So then again, the jack of all trades, whether it's screenwriting like I started, editing, directing, acting, producing. Yeah, it might be like, well, I'm not an expert in, well, I shouldn't say I'm an expert. Screenwriting, editing, directing, maybe, no, I'm not an expert. I'm still learning. That's the funny thing, is I'm still learning, because that's what we have to do. I'm still learning, I'm still practicing. Every time I do something, just like these videos, I have to quickly think about a script, and it might look like I put them in, I'm usually doing them in a very short amount of time and turning around, editing, and pushing them out because I've got another, schedule of just work and stuff. So skills, continuously build them. Let us know what you want to know more about, or what skills you think are most valuable for filmmakers, especially for those beginning filmmakers. If you are out there and you've been in the filmmaking world for years and you're looking back and like, I wish I would have known this, let us know. Share that with the audience. This is kind of what the whole channel is about, is to continuously help those young filmmakers, people out there, and for us to be mentors for each other, to help each other out and continuously see this filmmaking community grow.